If you use gel polish and love stamping as much as me, then you can probably relate to the frustration of not having the exact color that you want for a design. Gel polish that you can easily stamp with is a game changer and something that I definitely cannot live without. Not having to rush as fast as possible or being able to mix exact matching colors for my work means I may never go back to regular stamping polish again. Can it really be that easy? Let's find out. I'm so excited to be trying out Fiote's new concealer line, which is a no-wipe gel polish. It's perfect for chrome and was made with stamping in mind, even though that's not its one and only purpose. It's a really thick consistency, and so instead of a brush end, it's got a spatula type applicator, making it much easier for putting onto a palette. So I've got my tips here all prepped and ready to go, and along with this beautiful Nailbayo Nudi polish set, I'll also be using this Blanc Gold Nuance Chrome Powder to see how well the concealer gel works with chrome isolation. I'm going to start my design off in the middle with the ring finger here. This is the only nail that I won't be stamping on, but I will be using the concealer gel to paint thin lines with chrome isolation to see how well it works as a painting gel. The design idea for this nail is a wave pattern of colors, highlighted with gold chrome accents. The first color I'm using is Cocoa Veil to try to create a really nice center wave to build off of on either side. The goal is to have thicker and thinner areas that have a natural flow to them that's pleasing to the eye. I felt like I was starting off on the right path, but somehow got completely sidetracked on the flow of the pattern. I found it helpful to flash cure each wave as I finished it, just because I work very slowly and it will prevent any bleeding from one color into the next. My next color is this beautiful muted pink, and because this is a thin viscosity gel, it has a tendency to slide down the bristles and collect into a droplet. I'm able to use this to my advantage by being strategic with my first touch to the nail. I place it on a spot that I plan to widen out so that it's working with me instead of against me. Then I pull the product down into the areas that I want thinner for more control. Brick Rose is up next, and I'm switching to the other side of the nail with this one. I'm alternating sides mostly to try and balance the colors. This way I get a better visual of a light color on each side and prevent similar colors from laying next to each other. Dusty blue here is probably my favorite of this collection, or at least in a tie with the muted pink. It's a very light color, as is the fog gray, so I will be using them on opposite sides of each other. Because my end goal is to add a gold chrome separation line between each color, I'm making sure that each of my waves doesn't get too thin for the outline. I don't want them getting so close to each other that they end up looking crowded. Warm Latte is going to finish filling in our first side piece right here. And then Soft Sand will wrap it all up for us on this first coat. Now that my pattern is all drawn out and painted, it's into the light for a full, complete cure. This is one of those design situations where you have to trust the process. These are lovely, delicate sheer syrup coloring that we like to see in a nude polish. So because the coloring will be quite faint with a single coat, I'll be sure to go back over and double coat each of these colors to build the opacity and vibrancy of them. Once that's fully cured out of the lamp, it's time to go in with our matte top coat. I recently got this MAYO brand Yummy Art Matte Top Gel from an incredible in-person nail seminar I did with the Korean artist Nail Diary. It is phenomenal for isolated chrome, and it may become my new go-to for chrome designs. While our matte coat is curing, I'm just going to grab the Fiote concealer gel and load a smidge of it onto my palette here. Add just the smallest amount, as a little goes a really long way. Before I apply anything, I want to be sure to wipe my nail down really well with alcohol to remove any inhibition layers so that my lines stay thin and crisp. Then I make sure to load my brush properly by rolling it in my gel to saturate the bristles all the way through and then sliding off any excess. I typically find starting in the middle and working my way out to be the easiest with curvy lines. It helps prevent polish buildup on the edges of the nail and is just a more natural movement for me personally. One of the biggest benefits of my training with Nail Diary was it helped me see that I need to stop doubting my current skills. While I'm not fabulous with hand painting, it turns out I'm a whole lot better than I originally thought. I just needed a situation where I was forced to work quickly and do the best I could without overthinking it, and the course did just that for me. Because the lesson moves along so quickly, you either try your best in the time that you have, or you miss out and fall behind. I wanted to keep up, and what do you know? I was actually able to make things look like what they were supposed to be in a fraction of the time I would have at home. Never mind that in many cases, at home, I wouldn't even make an attempt to hand paint, simply thinking I can't do it before even trying. So, a lesson learned to get out of your own head and just give things a try, because it may turn out that you're a whole lot better at it than you ever thought. I may not have even tried a hand-painted nail like this before, and while I didn't feel like my wave pattern was particularly flowing well for me, I did manage to put down nice, thin, crisp lines quite easily, which made me really happy. I just need to work on the movement aspect a bit more, I feel like. Once all of my line work is done, a quick 10-second cure is all we need before going in with our chrome. Using an eyeshadow applicator is my tool of choice, but there are all sorts of ways to apply your chrome as long as you can rub it in nice and vigorously. Thanks to the matte coat doing such a great job, we can easily brush off our excess powder and then go in with something to burnish it. My go-to is typically a super soft microfiber cloth, but a makeup sponge applicator like this works amazing as well. You can see how we don't have a speck of powder clinging where it doesn't belong, and our gold chrome is rich and consistent. This is exactly what we want, so I'll float over it with my dedicated chrome top coat to prevent any loose powder from contaminating the rest of my top coats. My next nail is a little unique in that I'm going to matte coat it before I add any color polish to it. This is because I'm stamping a negative image onto it, so I don't need any background color. And of course, once it's cured, like always, you're going to go in and wipe it down really well with alcohol. Now we get to the best part where we see how well this gel does with stamping. I can't tell you how excited I was for the outcome, as I've tried endless times to find a gel product that will stamp as easily and clearly as a typical lacquer stamping polish. The spatula wand makes applying it to the plate really easy without a lot of wasted product. Then I go in and scrape the plate like I usually would, only I don't have to rush as fast as possible. The difference comes in the pickup. Instead of touching lightly and moving quickly with a flick of the wrist, you want to move slow and deliberate. Rock it steadily over the image with the slightest bit of pressure, and be sure to lift straight up at the end to prevent smearing. You can see what a perfect pickup it does with zero effort. And throughout my entire design, I never had to deal with crappy pickups or missing bits on my image. Even with fine lines, it was just a dream come true. Applying it to the nail takes the slightest adjustment, as it doesn't instantly stick like stamping polish, so you need to be committed with no hesitation and not wiggle as you apply pressure, or it could smudge. My first attempt, I was hesitant to press down too hard on the nail for fear of smearing it, so the stamper didn't quite wrap all the way around the nail far enough to apply the very edges. So I wiped it off and did it again with a little more pressure, and it worked perfectly. So I've done a 10-second cure on my nail, and now it's time to chrome. Just as before, I'm loading my eyeshadow applicator with just a tiny bit from the lid, as that's all I'll need. I rub that gently but vigorously into the nail, brush off any excess powder, burnish it in with my soft sponge, and now my entire negative space image is a beautiful, vibrant gold. At this point, I could go straight in with my colored gel, but I'm paranoid of ruining the work I've done with my chrome, so I'll go in with my dedicated chrome top coat to seal it in first. Now, I've grabbed my little ring palette that I can load a drop of each of the colors onto. When making these nails, it was actually quicker and easier to do all of my stamping first and then go straight through with adding all of my colors. But for the sake of this video, I thought it would be better to show each nail from start to finish. So, taking my nail now, and I'm just filling in each of the flowers with a different color. No different than a coloring book, just do your best to stay in the lines and try not to cover too much of the center details. Before curing, I find it helpful to clean off my brush and use it to wipe over the detail areas to take away any polish that might have drifted over them, just to clean it up a bit. Again, it will be quite sheer, but after I cure the first color, I just go right back in to double coat it before moving on to the next flower. I go through the entire nail like this until it has all been filled in and the finished effect is quite lovely. Next, I'm jumping to the pinky, as it will be essentially the same idea, only with a few tweaks. First, I'm putting down a base layer of soft sand. I'll put down 2 thin coats to build up the color a bit. Once that's cured, we go in with our matte top coat. Then cure again, clean off the nail well with alcohol, and it's stamping time again. This time, I'm using the matching outline design instead of the previous negative space image. I really love when plates have similar contrasting images like this because it makes it so much easier to create a cohesive yet unique design across multiple nails. I'll be using my sizing stamper for this one because my pinky finger is so small and I want to fit as many flowers on it as I can. To shrink my image, I twist up the stamper as high as it goes to push the head out into a dome. Be gentle about it as you don't want to tear your stamper jelly. With the head extended, I gently roll to pick up my image and then remove the top section of the stamper and the image will magically shrink down smaller. Now it's sized better to fit on this tiny pinky and we aren't just seeing a fraction of the image. An important note when using a stamping gel product is that I don't use my usual stamp cleaning roller as I don't want wet gel product left around to accidentally come in contact with. Unlike stamping polish, the gel doesn't need a sticky surface to clean it from the stamper as it's still wet. I can simply stamp it down onto a piece of paper a time or two and it will come away clean and ready to go. After a quick 10-second cure, my nail is out of the lamp and ready for that beautiful chrome. Of course, I'm going to top it off to seal in that chrome before going in with my colors, just so I can avoid any possible mishaps. Once again, I use my palette of colors to fill in the flowers, and this time I try to shift the colors somewhat opposite to the previous nail, just to give it some variety. Once the colors have a second coat, that's it. This nail is complete. Then going in with the ring finger, I'm using the fog gray for my base color on this one. We're doing the usual 2 coats of color, a matte top, and wipe down the nail with alcohol. I got really lucky with this particular style of flower, as I happen to have another random plate that has more with a similar look, which really helps the design all come together. I wanted to get as many details onto the nail again with this one, so I used my sizing stamper to make the image smaller. A gentle roll on the plate to pick up my image, and you can see all of those beautiful fine line details that have been picked up. Since I'm making the image smaller, I will be able to fit a lot more of them on the nail. The usual 10-second cure, then in with my chrome, and I've got to say, I feel like the chrome homes make me feel more confident about not sending my powder flying around in a big old mess. I can't wait to get all of my chrome collection set up in them with swatches. Now, I'm going to color in this large flower like the previous ones with one slight difference. I want to build up the color in many layers. Because this flower is bigger, I can manipulate it a bit more to give the illusion of depth. So while I'm building up the outer layers of the flower with multiple coats, I'm continuously flash curing in between. This way, I can keep the center more sheer and pull the color to the outer edges. This gives our flower just a little bit more dimension instead of looking flat and colored. I paid particular attention to the center details and tried to build around them to give the effect of them puckering the petals, if that makes sense. I was really pleased with the effect, and for a little bit of extra work, I think it made a big difference in the overall look of the nail. Am I wrong? What do you think? Let me know in the comments if it was noticeable to you. Last but not least, it's time for the thumbnail, where I'm again using the soft sand for our base color. I'll be putting down 2 coats to build a little opacity before going in with our matte top coat and alcohol wipe on the nail. Now, since my thumbnail is larger, it gives me the opportunity to mix things up a bit with this new individual flower image, but I'm also going to use the previous plate to add in some fine details. I'll first go in with my solitary flower and stamp that on before moving to the next plate. Because I'm using a gel polish that won't instantly dry on me, I have the time to switch between plates, remove any details that I might not want on my image, and piece it all together without being in a rush. Ideally, you don't want to cure in between stamps, as it might affect how well the chrome sets on each section. However, if you are concerned that you might smudge the first stamp when placing on the next ones, try a super fast flash cure, and hopefully it'll set without affecting your chrome application. Looking over my nail, I decided I needed to connect the vines to the flower in some way so that it didn't look like it was just floating in the middle. I used just a smidge of my gel to first fill in a little bit of patchiness on these leaves, and then to just add a few little wisps that flowed from the flower to the vines. Such a tiny detail, but it really pulled the whole design together on the nail. One of the nicest things about stamping with gel is not having to clean the plate after every single pickup. If at any point I need to use the same image again, I just load some more polish onto it. Then, at the very end, when I'm all done with my plates, I can clean everything off just the one time before putting them away. It saves so much time, cleanup supplies, and there are way less chemicals eating through my gloves that are going to result in a reaction from my henna allergy. Jumping back in, we're applying the last of our chrome after our nail has been cured for 10 seconds. We brush, buff, and top coat like the others, and then I'm going in with the dusty blue for this flower, applying it the same way as I did the previous nail. I feel like I didn't do quite as nice of a job on this flower compared to the previous one. I don't know if it was the stamp image, color I chose, or I was just getting tired and couldn't avoid the lines as well. But I did feel like the other flower turned out a little better. And this is how they turned out as a whole. What do you think? I'm really quite happy with the look, although I can definitely use some practice in the wavy line department. My lines are thin and continuous, which is great, but my organic shaping could really use some work. They just look a little off to me. I think maybe if some of them touched points at the ends and others opened up wider. I was attempting that when drawing them out, but somewhere it just all went wrong. As for stamping gel, I am sold. I mean, it's time to throw a party. I'm truly that excited. If Sweetie hadn't sold out so fast, I would have gotten this gel in black and white as well as this color called wood. Hopefully, they come out with a primary color palette soon, and then I can easily mix up any colors that I need. Being able to use chrome over them is fantastic, but having the option to mix up whatever color I need to stamp with is beyond phenomenal. A huge thank you to everyone watching and to Sweetie Nail Supply for sending me this lovely Nailbayo Doi Nudi Syrup Collection number 6 and the Fiote Concealer number 50 Wood. The only thing that could have made this gel any better for me is if it had been HEMA free. I'll be sure to put links for them in the description below, and don't forget to use my code LYN to help me continue making these videos and save your hard-earned money. Everybody wins! Hopefully, I've made you as excited about stamping with gel as I am, because there will likely be a whole lot more brands out there for me to try out and share. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, maybe more in-depth tips about stamping with polish, or brand comparisons to see whose are easier to use. Any suggestions are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like the video, or click what's next to keep the vibe going. It's been a pleasure as always, and until next time, don't forget to love your nails. Bye!